At dinner that night, everything felt normal until my daughter-in-law leaned toward me, her voice barely above a whisper, yet sharp enough to cut through the soft clinking of plates. "Don't sit next to me," she said. For a moment, the room froze. My heart skipped, but I smiled, pretending her words rolled off me like water. I quietly changed seats and sat next to the lawyer who had joined us for the evening. I didn't know then that her small sentence would uncover a truth that would flip our entire family upside down. "I'm Margaret, a retired nurse from Ontario, someone who has spent her whole life caring for others. I raised my son, Daniel, alone after his father passed away when he was just 5. We weren't rich, but we built a life based on love, trust, and quiet strength. When Daniel married Olivia, I welcomed her with open arms. I thought of her as the daughter I never had. I believed we were building a family together. But as the years passed, something fragile started cracking between us, something I chose to ignore because I thought love could fix it. That evening, we were gathered at a cozy restaurant overlooking the snowy city streets. It was one of those classic Canadian winter nights where the cold makes everything sharper, including emotions. The dinner was supposed to be a celebration. Daniel had invited a family lawyer, Mr. Brooks, to discuss a new business venture he was considering. I had no idea why I was there, but I assumed my son simply wanted my support. He always included me in everything. Until recently, when Olivia told me not to sit next to her, the air inside my chest tightened. The tone wasn't playful, it wasn't tired, it was dismissive, almost resentful. But I didn't want to ruin the night. I quietly took my place beside Mr. Brooks, who greeted me kindly, unaware of the storm brewing just behind my calm expression. Dinner went on, but I wasn't really listening. My mind replayed that single sentence over and over. What had I done? Was I smothering her? Had I unknowingly offended her? She acted like I was in the way, like my presence was a burden. I stared down at my plate until Mr. Brooks gently tapped my elbow. "Are you all right, Ms. Margaret?" he asked. I forced a smile. "Just a long day." He nodded with understanding that felt unusually warm. "If you ever need to talk about anything, I work with a lot of families, and sometimes parents get isolated without anyone noticing." His words sank into me like he could see something I was trying to hide. Across the table, I noticed Olivia whispering something into Daniel's ear. He looked uncomfortable, almost apologetic. And in that moment, I knew something was coming, something none of us were prepared for. After dinner, Daniel cleared his throat. "Mom, we need to talk after this. It's important." My heart sank, not because of fear, but because of the way he looked at me, like he didn't know how to tell me something he wished he never had to say. But before that conversation could happen, the twist unfolded. As we all stepped outside into the cold night, the lawyer's phone buzzed. He checked it, frowned, and turned to me. "Margaret, would you mind stepping aside with me for a second?" Confused, I followed him. The snow crunched under our boots as we moved away from the others. My breath puffed white in the freezing air. "I wasn't sure before," he said, "but I need to confirm something with you. Do you know that your house is being prepared for transfer?" I blinked. "Transfer? What house?" "My house." He nodded slowly. "Your primary residence. Daniel and your daughter-in-law have initiated documents. They told me you agreed to transfer ownership to them." The world spun. The cold suddenly felt like it pierced straight into my bones. "I agreed to nothing," I whispered, stunned. The lawyer exhaled sharply, realizing the truth. "I suspected as much. Their request didn't match your legal history. You've always been protective of your property. I needed to make sure." My knees weakened, and I held onto a railing beside me. My son, my own son, was trying to take my home. My sanctuary, the place where I raised him, held him, protected him, loved him. Before I could process anything more, Olivia marched toward us, irritation radiating off her. "Margaret, can we go? You're taking too long." Then she noticed the look on my face. And the lawyer's. In that moment, the truth spilled like broken glass. "You weren't supposed to talk to her alone," she snapped at the lawyer, realizing their plan had slipped. Daniel rushed over, looking panicked. "Mom, it's not what you think." But it was exactly what I thought. "How could you?" I whispered, tears blurring the lights of passing cars. Why would you take my home? You know it's everything I have. Olivia scoffed. You don't need that big house. We're starting a family. You should move into assisted living. It's practical. Her words were knives. Daniel tried to grab my hands, but I stepped back. Mom, I was going to explain. We thought it was the best option. You're getting older. I'm not dead, I said, my voice shaking, but stern. And even if I were, you don't get to decide when my life becomes inconvenient. The lawyer raised his hand calmly. Margaret, if you want, I can halt the process immediately. Nothing will move forward without your approval. I nodded quickly. Yes, please. That's when everything broke apart. Daniel looked torn between guilt and shame. Olivia looked furious. And well, I felt something I never expected to feel toward my own child: distance. We all stood in silence until the lawyer excused himself politely, leaving us under the falling snow. Mom, Daniel said, his voice cracking, I didn't mean to hurt you. Olivia convinced me this was right. We're struggling financially. I thought maybe we could share something. You could have asked, I said. You could have trusted me. But you tried to take advantage of me behind my back. Olivia stepped forward. We didn't steal anything. It was just paperwork. Paperwork that could have left me homeless, I said. Do you understand that? For once, she didn't have a comeback. Daniel wiped his face. Mom, I'm sorry. I really am. I took a long breath. I love you, Daniel. But I need space. I need time. And until then, I'm stepping back. Olivia huffed angrily. So what now? You're just going to act like we're villains. I looked directly at her. I'm going to act like someone who chooses self-respect. And I walked away. Over the next few weeks, I barely spoke to them. It wasn't revenge. It was healing. I spent time reconnecting with myself, something I hadn't done in years. I took walks through frozen parks, read books by the fireplace, cooked meals for one. At first it felt lonely. Then it felt peaceful. Then it felt empowering. One morning, my doorbell rang. I opened it to find Daniel standing alone, holding a small tin box I recognized instantly. It was the box where I kept the letters his father wrote before he passed, letters for Daniel to read when he became a man. He handed it back to me with trembling hands. I opened one, he admitted, his eyes red. Dad wrote something, he said, a man is measured by how he protects the people who once protected him. Mom, I failed that. I let pressure and Olivia's insecurity blind me. I touched the box gently. You're not lost, Daniel. You made a mistake, a big one, but mistakes don't erase love. They just remind us of what needs repairing. He nodded, tears falling freely. Can I try to repair it, even if it takes years? I opened the door wider. Come inside. Let's start there. We spent the entire afternoon talking, really talking, for the first time in years. He apologized deeply. I forgave him slowly, and we agreed on one thing: boundaries. Healthy ones. As for Olivia, she stayed away. Eventually, Daniel admitted that their marriage had deeper cracks that weren't mine to fix, and never had been. Months passed before I saw her again. And when I did, she approached me with an apology that sounded more human than anything she had ever said before. Maybe she changed. Maybe life softened her edges. Or maybe losing something makes you realize what you took for granted. We didn't become close, but we became civil, respectful, and that was enough. Looking back, that night at dinner wasn't an ending. It was a beginning. It taught me that love doesn't mean letting yourself be used. That family isn't defined by silence or sacrifice, but honesty, accountability, and courage. And that sometimes, the most powerful moment in a mother's life is the moment she decides to stand up, not against her family, but for herself. And that is the moment that truly changed everything.